Matthew's been with us for quite a while. He's done most of the things that we do. So we do presentations, anywhere from 2 minutes to a half hour. We can come in. We've got a lot of great graphics of what the kids are doing, and we keep it interesting.
How many people do you have in your organization?
Well, volunteers, each year we're counting, and so usually we end up with somewhere between 150 to 200 youth that have volunteered each year.
Oh, right, that's quite a number.
Yeah, and then we're reaching out. Thousands of young people are in our workshops throughout the year. So we do.
Is it just open to youth at risk, or is it anyone?
Well, really anyone. I mean, we're open to youth at risk, but that's not our target audience. Really, we're looking at young people who are interested in reaching out to their peers and making a difference. So some young people volunteer because they want community service hours for school. Some of them are interested in acting. Some of them need community service hours through court. Some of them just want to get video experience or something like that. So we're all about training them. What motivates you, Matthew? What got you involved?
Well, I started when I was around involved in actually comedy improv classes that Katherine had been teaching. And it was while I was involved in those that straight up started. Of course, I was like 10, so I wasn't the best to be portraying underage drinking. So I think at first the motivation was just, it seemed, because the kids have a lot of fun with it. So it seemed like it would be a fun thing to do. And now that I'm actually part of the culture, it really, I think it makes a difference. And it's not like the other prevention programs in that it's more active. It's trying to get the culture to change as opposed to just preaching to the kids about what they shouldn't be doing and why they shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah, preaching work, we wouldn't have a problem.
Right.
Well, how did you get involved in it, Katherine?
Well,
what motivated you?
Like Matthew, I was into drama ever since I was a little kid. I always, was doing commercials in the bathtub and gathering the neighborhood kids around together to put on a performance for our parents. And so that's really what I do as an adult as well. I was doing things like school assembly programs, and I started learning about how to use improv in community outreach, how to do social change work through the theater, and started doing some different things around bullying issue, around the homelessness issue, a little bit around domestic violence. Someone from the county behavioral health department who was working around the issue of underage drinking heard about the kind of things that I was doing and started brainstorming with me around ideas of how could we use these techniques to engage young people in this issue. Mm-hmm. So when the county about 7 or 8 years ago got a grant to reduce underage and binge drinking in the county, they asked us to work with them and create this program. And so it's grown a lot since then. We've all learned a lot since then, and having a great time with it and feeling good about what we're doing.
Well, how can people join your group or volunteer or perhaps donate to the cause? How can they contact you?
Well, first look on our website, check it out, look at the various different things that we do, straightupvc.org, and definitely email or call me to talk about it. Young people can volunteer, or I guess older people can do it too. Through our website, there's a way to register as a volunteer, and this doesn't obligate them to anything. It just gives them a chance to tell us what they're interested in doing, what their availability is, and how do we contact them to start inviting them. So some young people participate now and then when it's something that particularly interests them, or if they really need some hours by a certain time. But and other people are doing it as just everything that they can. That's part of the reason Matthew's been such a great volunteer with us, but it can be a little bit or a lot. There's no kind of certain thing you have to do.
Well, that's pretty much the way things are with a lot of groups. I've found a lot of volunteer groups is a hardcore that does most of the work, and people who come and go as the time goes on. Now, what do you see the future of your organization? Is this going to mature into something, or do you plan some perhaps big event that maybe you can bring this about, a change in the way the youth culture operates, going into music videos, for instance, or some other genre that young people click onto, or perhaps might actually change their minds about getting silly drunk
Well, yeah, we'd love to be coming up with a lot of other ways. Mitchell was just talking about doing some kind of a flash mob thing, and I think when a young person has an idea, we're really all about engaging them. So we don't always have a certain way we're going to do things. If we have a young person come in and says, "Here's my idea," we can work with them and try to make that happen. So, I think over time we'd love to get more and more young people involved. Perhaps over time we'll expand, the issues that we're addressing and kind of be able to apply these things that we've learned and the advocacy skills and the spokespersons that have been trained with us to do more and more things.
Sounds like you've really picked or selected a great way to do things, because people in our generation, we don't really have a clue what young people are doing. And having daughters, I understand totally what they're into. Their culture is a vastly different one from the one that we had when we were young. Maybe better, maybe worse, but vastly different. And getting like the flash mobs is a great idea, or putting some sort of group together. In our generation, it might have been street theater or something like that. But this is a different world we live in, where video might be the way to go.
Social networking, we've been able to connect to a lot of young people through that, and I think that's one of the great ways for the young people to be able to reach their peers, whether it be things that they're posting, or it's much easier these days for a young person to make a video, to make a statement they want to make, or share information. It's so much easier for them to create that and to put it up where people will actually see it. So that's very exciting.
Do you see anything like a national base? It sounds like something that certainly could use some recognition countrywide, not just in Ventura County.
Well, that would be great. We're open to growing. Our reality parties has really got us out there. We've gone to Idaho and Oklahoma and South Dakota to train other organizations on how to put on the reality parties for parents. So we are starting to get out there.
And that's what I think you want to do. You don't want to do the reefer madness kind of technique. You want to base it on reality, but also realize that each of us know people who've been hurt in one way or another, sometimes slightly, sometimes, lose their lives. So it's a way to really bring this awareness out there to the public.
Yeah, I think that's important. I think it's really easy for parents and people to say, well, it's no big deal, it's alcohol, or it's just pot, or something like that. But to really understand from the young person's point of view, really what kind of pressure there is and the kinds of things that are going wrong. We can't stop every kid from drinking, we can't, and we're not prohibitionists, but we really would like to change the culture to where it's not so much, that they're not drinking to such crazy levels.
Or that they know that putting a funnel in your mouth and consuming whiskey is not a good thing.
Right, it's just getting bigger and bigger, and they have to outdo what people used to do. So we've got to find a way to change that and to bring it back.
Or combining pills and liquor, or combining your liquors. That's one of the first lessons I learned at college.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things that parents aren't realizing, how easy kids can get a hold of prescription drugs. It's in their parents' medicine cabinet. We need to be watching how we take care of those things, because young people take it without really knowing what it is, and they mix it with alcohol, and it's just very dangerous.
And a lot of people lose their lives that way. Well, it sounds like you've got a great mission, almost an impossible mission, if you will, but it sounds like you're rising to the occasion. And even if you just save a handful of lives, that's worth it.
That's right. Our goal is to make social change around these issues. So if we can reduce it, if we can, change what's kind of become normal, I think that's success.
And Matthew, what do you think? You're planning to go to college now, or you're still in high school?
Still in high school. I'm a sophomore.
What do you plan to do with your life? Drama?
I don't think so. I'm at the moment not even all that involved in drama, but I'm still, I do improv still, and that comes into play with Straight Up.
Well, let's do a quick plug for Ventura Improv Company, where you can see Matthew performing often on Friday nights at 8 o'clock.
All right, sounds like a great place to go. Well, thank you very much for coming on and tell us about your organization and your goals. So thank you, Katherine.
Thank you.
And Matthew, keep up the good work. All right, join us next time as we explore more of the nonprofit organizations in Ventura County and what they do to make our quality of life so good. Until next time, Richard Sennett signing off.